चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् अद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Lord Advaitacharya, Advaita Chandra, all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Here we are in the MadhyaLila, chapter 22, the process of devotional service. And while I was going through the verses while preparing the class, I was thinking, oh my God, there is so much in this chapter. There is so much of condensed bliss in this chapter, because this chapter is actually an evidence that how everything comes from the scriptures, and how whatever scriptures the Gosvāmīs have composed has come directly from Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. So it's an amazing chapter. We have already covered till verse number 30. So now the balanced chapter, Krishna willing, we will complete till verse number 103 today. So the first section for today is Krishna's mercy on those who approach him. We are not in our studio. I hope the video and the audio is clear, and I hope we can serve you all well. Verses 31 to 42, Krishna's mercy on those who approach him. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhikara Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikara. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya
is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of the external energy will immediately vanish. So, in this, a very important principle is being explained with a very beautiful analogy. And right now, it is night time, and we see that unless there is a light source, it is very, very dark. So it is very dark. So either there is a moon in which we can see a little bit, or there is an artificial lighting that we can see anything. Otherwise, it is very dark. It gets so dark that we may not be even able to see our own hands. But moment there is morning, even before the sun rises, there is so much of light that everything becomes visible. So same. So using the same analogy, here Lord is explaining that Krishna is compared to sunshine. And Maya, the illusory energy of the Lord, is compared to darkness. So, if we want to get freedom from the darkness, all we have to do is take to Krishna consciousness. So, if we take up Krishna consciousness, then Maya's influence on us will go away. It's a very simple, straightforward principle.
The external illusory energy of Krishna, known as Maya, is always ashamed to stand in front of Krishna, just as darkness is ashamed to remain before the sunshine. However, that Maya bewilders unfortunate people who have no intelligence. Thus, they simply boast that this material world is theirs and that they are its true enjoyers. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining here that Maya has no existence in front of Krishna. And she feels very ashamed and she just vanishes if Krishna is present there. But Mahaprabhu is using a word here, interesting word, unfortunate people who have no intelligence. So now we may see that these people who come into this category, they may be materially very intelligent. You know, they may be doing so many things in the material world, and yet because they fail to understand the supreme position of Krishna and because they do not take shelter of Krishna, they are referred here as people who have no intelligence and they are the unfortunate people.
This brings us to a point where we see sometimes devotees, they may not be very materially intelligent, the same point that you were making. They may not be doing very well in their material life. Um, their IQs may not be very high, but because they've taken to Krishna consciousness, their spiritual IQ is first class, is top class. So, and the scriptures explain that those who take up Krishna consciousness are actually intelligent, others are not. Krishna तुम्हारा नया दिए बाले कबारा Maya bandha haite Krishna tare kare para.
One is immediately freed from the clutches of Maya if he seriously and sincerely says, "My dear Lord Krishna, although I have forgotten you for so many long years in the material world, today I am surrendering unto you. I am your sincere and serious servant. Please engage me in your service." So, since time immemorial, we have been defying and challenging Krishna. And yet, Mahaprabhu says here that immediately I'll be free, immediately I'll become intelligent, immediately I'll become fortunate the moment I just say that Krishna, I'm yours. I'm your servant. I surrender unto you. And in that moment, that person is free from the clutches of Maya.
So, I mean, we see that how beautifully Srila Prabhupada has translated this one phrase, Krishna Tomar Hana. Krishna, I'm yours. And then Prabhupada is beautifully explained into an entire prayer. So maybe you can take a screenshot. And this is one prayer that we can offer to the deities or whenever we remember during any part of the day, morning, night, afternoon, and then we can offer this prayer mentally, verbally to the Lord. Sakriteva prapanno yas tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etat vritam mama. It is my vow that if one only once seriously surrenders unto me, saying, "My dear Lord, from this day I am yours," and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. So this statement is made by Lord Sri Ram, and he's making this point that actually what is interesting is that Lord is taking a vow. The devotee is not taking a vow that Lord, from today I take a vow to follow four regular principles. From today I take a vow to chant 16 rounds. Here, Lord is taking a vow. It is my vow that if anyone, and how many times one has to do this? Once. If once one sincerely surrenders to the Lord in all sincerity, in all humility, if one tells the Lord that, Lord, from this day onwards, I am yours, I am, you are mine. This is all that he prays. And prays for the courage that somehow, Lord, that let me, continue with this. So then Lord says, I will immediately award that courage to the person, and he will remain safe from that time onwards.
Actually, this verse Lord Sri Ramchandra speaks when actually Vibhishan had come to Rama, and Vibhishan wanted to take Lord Ramchandra's shelter, and all the other monkeys, the kings, the army, everybody else except for Hanuman, everyone else was telling that Ramchandra Bhagwan, you should not accept him. And Ram says, what to talk of him? Even if Ravana comes and tells that, my dear Lord, I am yours, so I'll accept him also, because I have taken that vow that only once if somebody seriously surrenders to me, I accept that person. So that is the magnanimous heart of Supreme Lord.
So this is the life insurance offered by the Lord. We have to take the policy with sincerity and seriousness. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami subuddhi adhikaya Gada bhakti yoge tave Krishna re bhajaya.
Due to bad association, the living entity desires material happiness, liberation, or merging into the impersonal aspect of the Lord, or he engages in mystic yoga for material power. So, bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, all these four things Prabhupada has explained that a person, because of bad association, he gets into all these desires. If such a person actually becomes intelligent, he takes to Krishna consciousness by engaging himself in intense devotional service to Lord Krishna. So, see, this person, this living entity, he is desiring material happiness or liberation or merging with the Supreme Lord or power of mystic yoga. He understands that, okay, Krishna can provide me, and he tries to connect with Krishna for these things. So he knows that Krishna is supreme, but he is asking the wrong things to the Supreme Lord. So how he becomes intelligent? When he changes what he's asking for. So when he starts asking for intense devotional service, Gada Bhakti Yoga, intense devotional service to Lord Krishna, he immediately becomes intelligent.
And in the beginning, it's mentioned due to bad association. So therefore, if we keep the association of pure devotees, then engaging ourselves in intense devotional service will naturally come to us. And if we don't keep the association of pure devotees and we keep association of others who are already involved in bhakti, mukti and siddhi, that is what they're aspiring for, that is bad association for us. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udarati ivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whatever one desires, whether one desires everything or nothing, akama, there is no desire, sarva kama, he is desiring everything. So I'm sure those of us who watched Mahavatar Narsimha, and when Hiranyakashyap is praying and then Brahmaji appears and he says, what do you want? He makes that statement. He said, I want everything. Sab kuch. Hindi mein, you remember that? He says sab kuch. So this is sarva kama. The only thing is he was praying to the wrong personality. So akama sarva kamova moksha kamodarati. So whether one is akama, one has no desires, or one has sarva kama, one desires everything, or one has a desire to merge in the existence of the Lord, moksha kama, one is desiring for moksha. He is intelligent only if he worships Lord Krishna. the Supreme Personality of Godhead by rendering transcendental loving service. So that's the only point. It doesn't really matter whether we have large number of desires which we're trying to fulfill, or we have no desires, we're desiring liberation. Till the time we are worshipping that one Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purusham Param, with Tivra Bhakti. That is what is being desired. Because what happens is when we perform transcendent loving service, Tivra Bhakti, when you gradually over a period of time, due to the association with devotees, you become purified and will come to the right path. Anyakami Krishna bhajana namagite Krishna tare dena swacharana.
If those who desire material enjoyment or merging into the existence of the absolute truth engage in the Lord's transcendental loving service, they will immediately attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, although they did not ask for it. Krishna is therefore very merciful. So those who desire material enjoyment or merging into the Supreme Lord, they will also attain Krishna's lotus feet. Anya kami yadi kare Krishna bhajan. So what is the factor in here? That he starts the loving devotional service. If a person who has some desire for sense enjoyment, or if a person has desire to merge into the impersonal Brahma, and for whatever reason, if he starts engaging himself in Lord's loving service, Lord will immediately give him his own swachara, lotus feet. कृष्ण कहे आमा भजे मागे विष सुख अमृत छाड़ी विष मागे ये बड़ा
मूर्खा. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants the opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. A bada murk. He is not just murk, he is bada murk. Indeed, he is just like a person who gives up ambrosia to drink poison. So here, this section we are discussing that how when people, we are in the material world full of material desires, and when we approach the Lord by performance of devotional service, then sometimes we may do so in the initial stages with material desires. So here Lord is saying, Ama Bhaje. So there is somebody who engages in my devotional service, who does bhakti, but with an objective to attain Vishaya Sukha, to attain some material happiness. So he's everyday chanting, he's performing, going to the temple, praying to the deities, taking some prasadam, but all the time his mind is going that, I have a daughter and she has to somehow get married, and my job is very troublesome, or for example, I don't have a house, I have to settle in, I'm not getting married, I need a good wife or a husband, or somebody is very sick at home, and then somehow they have to be treated, or if somebody is thinking that I don't have enough money, or I want to go abroad for a vacation, whatever. So all these, so if he is performing devotional service, but these are the things which he wants to achieve, then Krishna is saying what he's asking for, he's actually asking for poison. A bada mukh. So he's a very, very foolish person who's asking for material happiness, because this material happiness is temporary and is very meager. And he's giving up. He's not asking the Lord his association, his devotees association, which is eternal, and unimaginable bliss is there in that, which is cannot be compared with material happiness.
আমি বিজ্ঞ এই মূর্খে বিষকে দিবা স্বচরণামৃত দিয়া বিষয় ভোলাইবা. And the Supreme Lord, He is so merciful here. What He's saying is, since I am very intelligent, why should I give this full material prosperity? So He may ask for something, but why should I give Him that? Instead, I shall induce Him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. So sometime in our life, something happens, like I'll give you an example, a death of somebody whom I really love. So now I have been praying for this person, that this person should live long. And I have been sincerely doing all the various angas of bhakti. And yet Krishna did not listen to my prayers. He did not answer my prayers. And he still took away that person. and I may feel extremely shattered and disconnected. So, for such case, Krishna himself is telling that the other person is not very intelligent and he is asking for material benedictions, material boons. So, even if he's asking for somebody's for a longer life. So, okay, instead of dying immediately, that person may die after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. But ultimately, that person is anyways going to die. So that is how, if we are asking for material things, that is not very intelligent. For us and for our loved ones, all we have to ask is spiritual perfection, and that is intelligence. So Krishna is telling that, like for example, I may be praying for long life of my loved one, but Krishna, instead of long life, what he may give? He may give Swacharanamrit. So he Krishna may personally take that person close to him and bless him with that spiritual life where there are no miseries. So that is how Krishna actually makes the other person forget about the material illusory things and gives him the real nectar.
At this point also we need to understand that that is where worshipping Krishna is very different from worshipping other personalities, other Devi Devatas, whatever. Because Devi Devatas, they're usually the Sattva gun, but they're still within the modes. Whatever they can give is limited to their abilities, to the limitations of this material world, and they cannot give anything that is permanent. But here the Lord can actually give Swachanamrita. So he can give something that is eternal, permanent. So, like a parent, the parent, the child may ask for foolish things. I'm sure those parents of those who are attending, who are parents, they would know that, children ask foolish things, all the time. And they don't want to go to school, they want to play, they want to do this, they want phone, they want things that will actually harm them. But and if the parents just simply try to explain it, they just don't have the intelligence to understand this. But then the parents are very intelligent. They devise ways and devise things that somehow the child uh, is given only that which is beneficial to the child, not something that is harmful. So that is what the Lord also makes arrangement. So that's why he's saying, instead I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of.
So the person is unwilling, and yet Krishna,
Sometimes the medicine,
like I say, that we have our plan and Krishna has master plan. So he gives something. He gives the best for each one of us.
Srila Prabhupada very famously wanted to earn money so that when he has money, then he can, preach and he can expand the preaching movement. And Prabhupada himself mentions that Krishna actually took away everything. His once flourishing business came to a standstill. Everything he lost. And then he became completely, almost penniless. So that was his situation. So Krishna took away everything from him. And then Prabhupada realized that how Krishna has brought him to a position where he can actually simply, completely surrender, like Draupadi. There was no other way.
Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one's desire, he undoubtedly does so. But he does not award anything which, after being enjoyed, will cause one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has other desires but engages in the Lord's service, Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet where one will forget all other desires. So I may have so many desires. I may go to Krishna and I may go to ISKCON, I may start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra because I want to get married. And then again I may go, okay, I'm married, I want a child, and then I want a job, and then I want a house. So here it is telling that if I have these desires, if I am approaching to Krishna, and if I am engaging in Lord's devotional service, then Krishna forcibly gives me the shelter of his lotus feet and make me my consciousness in a manner that I forget all other material desires.
And he fulfills also. Krishna fulfills the requested desire, but he will fulfill it in a way that one will not have other days. So the whole purificatory process will happen. So I was just thinking, is there any other Lord? Is there any other personality who speaks this, who does this for us?
I mean, he's just like our loving parents who, despite I may desire so many things, but they know that what is good for me, and they will not give what I keep asking. They will give something which I need for my growth, my permanent happiness. So that way.
Perfect parent.
Perfect. Yeah. कामलागी कृष्णे भजे पाय कृष्ण रसे काम छाड़ी दास होइते माया विलासे.
When someone engages in Lord Krishna's devotional service for the satisfaction of the senses and instead acquires a taste for serving Krishna, he gives up his material desires and willingly offers himself as an eternal servant of Krishna. So this is the transition, how the transition happens. If this is a person who is not really taking up Krishna consciousness for the sake of bhakti, for the sake of pleasing the Lord, but rather the satisfaction of his own senses, so that is why he is taken up. But then because he's engaging in Krishna's devotional service and not worshipping any other Devi and Devata, so what happens? Krishna gives him the taste for serving Krishna. And that, so like if somebody is looking in garbage bin, and what he will find desirable to eat. But if so, one is having that kind of mentality and he approaches the Lord gives him Rajbhog Prasadam. So what he will look into what is in the dustbin, he will accept that great prasadam. So Krishna gives him the taste for serving Krishna, and this fellow gives up his material desires and then willingly offers himself. So the point, this is that beautiful transition in the relationship that happens between a devotee and Krishna.
When he was being blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruva Maharaj said, "O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. Therefore, I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you." So, actually, if you read at the bottom, this particular section is about Krishna's response to bhakti with material desire. So now Dhruv Maharaj also had a lot of material desires and he wanted the kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. That is what his desire was. We may desire something. His desire was, his desire was a kingdom bigger than Brahma. With that intent, he approached. But because he had a guru like Narad Muni, who engaged him in bhakti. So he started meditating on that form of Krishna. He started praying to Krishna. And then when the Lord appeared in front of him, this was his prayer. He was telling, oh, I was looking for broken pieces of glass. So what is broken pieces of glass?
Worthless.
That was kingdom bigger than Brahma. That he is telling is like a piece of glass, and you are giving me the most valuable jewel of. Getting into the next section, Shloka 43 to 55, attaining devotional service by devotees' mercy.
We are very clear whether devotee has a kama or he has sarva kama. When he engages in Krishna service, he becomes purified and Krishna forcibly draws him to his lotus feet. And we see how this all happens. Samsara brahmite kona bhagite hatare nadira pravahe yena kashtalage tire. The conditioned souls are wandering throughout the different planets of the universe, entering various species of life. Samsara Brahmite. So actually, this is our history. This is my history. This is your history that we have been traveling planet to planet, universes to universes, from species to species. We have been traveling from families to families. That is our condition. Samsara Brahmite. Kaune bhagye keha tare nadira pravai. So by good fortune, one of these souls may somehow, bhagya, by great fortune, by somehow or other be delivered from the ocean of nescience, just as one of the many big logs in a flowing river may by chance reach the bank. So sometimes when you stand on the bank of a river sometimes you'll find some pieces of wood, uh, you know, which will come to the bank and sometimes stay on the beach, the bank of the river. So this log is flowing in the water. It is coming from where it will go where we don't know, but by some or other, by bhagya, by providence, by great fortune, it has come out of this. And similarly, we are traveling. We have no idea where all we have gone, but by just great fortune, and we'll understand gradually as we move into this particular section. We'll know what this great fortune is about, all about.
Naivam mamadhamasyapi syadevachyut darshanam
hiryamana
kalanatya
kvachit tarati kaschana.
Because I am so fallen, I shall never get a chance to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This was my false apprehension. Rather, by chance, a person as fallen as I am may get to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although one is being carried away by the waves of the river of time, one may eventually reach the shore. So there is some possibility I may be very, very fallen, and yet I may have a chance to reach the shore. And how that chance happens, we'll see in the upcoming verses.
Om bhagyakaro samsar chayoन्मुख्यहाय sadhu sangita ve Krishna radiyupajaya. By good fortune, one becomes eligible to cross the ocean of nescience. And when one's term of material existence decreases, one may get an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. By such association, one's attraction to Krishna is awakened. So one may perform a lot of pious activities, but it is described that pious activities are of three types. And one of those pious activities is when one performs pious activities for the pleasure of the Lord directly, indirectly, knowingly, unknowingly. So what happens is that the wood, the piece of wood, when it becomes dry and more dry and more dry, then it is ready to burn. A small spark will burn it. So similarly, by performing Agya Sukriti, one comes to a point that one, just by the association of pure devotees, is like a spark, and his attraction to Krishna is awakened.
I think in this verse, Srila Prabhupada quotes Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary, and he talks that how these pious activities are of three categories. So one is Bhogunmukhi Sukriti, where I have the desire, or rather I get to gratify my senses, bhoga, because I have done some pious activity. So now in this life, I get to enjoy. The second is mokshanmukhi sukriti, where I get to merge with the impersonal Brahman because I have done some pious activity. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that these two types are not truly pious activity. The third one, bhakti unmukhi sukriti, where because of my pious activities, I get to do devotional service of the Lord. I get to meet the devotee of the Lord. So that is the real sukriti, real pious activity.
Yes. Krishna Jagati Thakur.
Vinod Thakur, I think. I'm not wrong.
O my Lord, O infallible Supreme Person, when a person wandering throughout the universe has become eligible for liberation from material existence, he gets an opportunity to associate with devotees. When he associates with devotees, his attraction for you is awakened. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal of the topmost devotees, and the Lord of the universe. So this is something that we need to make very clear in our head, that one may perform different processes, and one may be eligible even for liberation going out of this material world, but one still cannot approach the Supreme Lord. One cannot really practice devotional life. One cannot actually make Lord the goal of his life unless one receives the mercy, grace, the association of his pure devotees.
कृष्ण यदि कृपा करे कौन भाग्यवाने गुरु अंतर्यामी रूपे शिखाय आपने Krishna is situated in everyone's heart as the Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within. When he is kind to some fortunate conditioned soul, he personally gives him lessons so he can progress in devotional service, instructing the person as the super soul within and the spiritual master without. So Krishna, the Paramatma, the Chaitya Guru, he is staying in each and every one of our heart. And when he becomes merciful, so what he does is he starts teaching us, he starts inspiring us from within to practice devotional service. So he starts instructing us from within, and the expansion of that Chaitya Guru is the Guru or the spiritual master who starts training us from outside.
O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged life of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Super Soul, to deliver the embodied living beings by directing him how to come to you. So here it's described that great transcendental devotee poets and experts in spiritual science, they are not able to express their indebtedness, that how much effort the Supreme Lord puts in. He appears, in fact, they're saying that they're not able to express their indebtedness for a prolonged lifetime of Brahma. He lives for 100 years, and the calculation is given in Bhagavad Gita in terms of human years. How long is Brahma's life? Even that time is not enough to express our indebtedness, that how we don't care, we are not bothered. But Lord appears, we are not interested. The Lord makes arrangement. Externally, he makes arrangement for the Acharya to appear, and internally as the super soul. So one place I was reading, it is documented by one of the Srila Prabhupada disciples that Srila Prabhupada mentioned that there was a discussion between him and the Lord, and the Lord said that you go to the material world. And then Srila Prabhupada said, it's a very nasty place, I will not go. Then the Lord said, no, you go and you write books. And once you write the books, then I'll bring you back. And then Srila Prabhupada agreed to come.
Sadhu-sange Krishna bhakti shraddhaya dihaya
Bhakti phala prema haya samsayaya shaya.
By associating with her devotee, Sadhu Sange, one awakens his faith in devotional service to Krishna. Krishna Bhakti Shraddha. So the Shraddha in Krishna Bhakti, that is awakened by Sadhu Sangha. And because of devotional service, one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, and thus one's material continued existence comes to an end. So everything, the beginning point is actually the association of devotee. Because of that association, I get faith in the process of devotional service. And when I start performing the process of devotional service, my love for Krishna increases. And because my love and attachment to Krishna increases, all the interest in this material world, samsaraya kshaya, it comes to an end.
Some of us have this had this experience where we give so much importance to Srila Prabhupada's words. Krishna may say something in Bhagavad Gita, but then we read Prabhupada's translation, we read Prabhupada's purport of what Krishna is saying and what does he mean. Because sometimes Krishna will say, and we may get little bewildered, why is Lord saying this? And then Srila Prabhupada is explained, and the acharyas will explain that what actually Lord means and how do we understand that statement. So even before we understand Lord's word, we understand Srila Prabhupada's words, and I'm sure we would have had this experience that how we take Srila Prabhupada's words as the
Law books.
law book, like the judgment, as the Supreme Court law or whatever
Yes,
they
see,
pass or the
devotees argue
constitution.
also with different
Yeah, Srila
quotes of
Prabhupada
Srila
said this,
Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada said that, Srila Prabhupada did that. So, so by associating with the devotee, in our lives, themselves, you would have noticed that it was, of course, Srila Prabhupada at some point in time, some devotee would have connected us to him, or we might have directly connected to Srila Prabhupada through his books. And then there are so many devotees who
Nurture.
Yeah, so like that, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? And those we put small pieces in a puzzle, no?
Jigsaw puzzle.
Jigsaw puzzle. So there are different devotees keeping different bits and pieces of the jigsaw puzzle of our bhakti jivan.
Actually, like in my case, I didn't go looking for Bhagavad Gita. Somebody came and brought and dropped it on my lap that you read this Bhagavad Gita. So, यदृच्छयामत्कथादौ जातसत्तस्तु यः पुमान् नानिर्विण्णो नातिशक्तो भक्तियोगोऽस्य सिद्धिदः. Somehow or other, if one is attracted to talks about me and has faith in the instructions I have set forth in the Bhagavad Gita, and if one is neither falsely detached from material things nor very attracted to material existence, his dormant love for me will be awakened by devotional service. So, Krishna is not telling that you have to be a sannyasi. Krishna is not telling that you have to be a bhogi also. So, neither bhogi nor too detached nor tyagi. What he is telling is the only thing is if you have some faith in the instructions which I am giving in Bhagavad Gita, just by following those instructions of devotional service, the dormant love for Krishna would be awakened. Mahakrapa vina kona karme bhakti naya Krishna bhakti dure rahu samsana hikshaya.
Unless one is favored by a pure devotee, one cannot attain the platform of devotional service. To say nothing of Krishna Bhakti, one cannot even be relieved from the bondage of material existence. So this is very interesting that we all usually come with, we are looking for happiness and we want freedom or relief from distress. Both things happen when we some or other receive the favor of a pure devotee and his mercy and his blessings, and we begin to follow his instructions, then we receive this.
O King Rahugana, without taking upon one's head the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee, a Mahajan or Mahatma, one cannot attain devotional service. Like, one can not attain. In fact, in the previous verse also, Mahat Kripa Vinu, nothing is possible. That was said, Mahat Kripa Vina Kona कर में भक्ति नहीं, किसी प्रकार की भक्ति हो ही नहीं सकती है unless one is favored by a pure devotee. So here also the same thing from Srimad Bhagavatam. Without taking upon one's head the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee, one cannot attain devotional service. Devotional service is not possible to attain simply by undergoing severe austerities and penances, by gorgeously worshipping the deity, or by strictly following the rules and regulations of the sannyas or grihastha order. Nor is it attained by studying the Vedas, submerging oneself in water, or exposing oneself to fire or scorching sunlight. I mean, other elements, even here it is mentioned, by gorgeously worshipping the deity. Still, one cannot attain devotional service unless one takes upon his head the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee.
Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life.
Sadhu-sanga, sadhu-sanga, sarva-shastra-kaya.
Lava matra sadhu-sange
sarva-siddhihaya. The verdict of all revealed scriptures is that even by a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. So here the shloka says, Lava matra sadhu-sanga. So lava means 1/11th of a second. Not even 1 second. 1/11th of a second, and sarva-siddhihaya.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making this statement. Now he quotes a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Tulayama lavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam
Bhagavat sangi sangasya
Madhyanam mutashishaha.
The value of a moment's association with a devotee of the Lord. Tulyama lavenapi. So that 1/11th of a second association of a pure devotee of the Lord cannot be compared. That value of that moment cannot be compared with, even to the attainment of heavenly planets, na swargam, or liberation, na punarbhava, or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benediction in the form of material prosperity, which is for those who are meant for death. This is how Srimad Bhagavatam and now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorifying the great value and great the greatness of devotee association. So sometimes what happens is, with time we tend to take it very cheaply, or we tend to take it very casually. We don't give it sufficient importance. But this section is very important. So we need to revise this section probably once in few days, so that we continue to keep this at the top of our memory, that how important is to keep the association of devotee of the Lord. To attain pure devotional service, to connect with the Supreme Lord, to begin our devotional service, to continue our devotional service, to attain perfection of devotional service, continuously we need the association, blessings, mercy, guidance of pure devotees of the Lord.
Actually, we also need to understand what it means to take association of devotee. Because we may be in association of devotee and we may waste it completely by discussing something mundane, material, unimportant, insignificant.
Or
So,
not take advantage at
or
all.
not take advantage at all. Yeah. So we need to understand what it means to take association of devotee, because this association of devotee can actually change the trajectory of my devotional life forever.
It changes our destiny. This actually changes our destiny. Our destiny is already mapped based on what all we have done in previous lifetimes. In this life, our journey is already mapped, not just of this life, of the next, of the next, of the next. So the entire journey is already mapped. And by mostly unknowingly, this destiny is actually changed from further births in material world to the lotus feet of the Lord. And that is actually done by the association of devotees. So that is why that indebtedness is Brahma's whole lifetime. Also, if we want to express our indebtedness, is not enough.
I think we will stop here. It is almost 10 o'clock. So in the next chapter, next session, we will continue from classification of devotees. So we will take your leave and we will wait for your important learnings from the day. So the WhatsApp group would open and we would really want you to mention your learning. As I said in the beginning, personally, I found this chapter so very soothing and so recharging and wonderful. There are so many amazing, amazing points which we have learned today. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Satyendra has raised hand after a very long time, so we'll take his hand. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji, probably.
Hare Krishna.
Am I visible? Yeah, I think I'm visible, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, it's a long time, Mataji and Prabhuji. I already messaged you guys, but I wanted to talk. Yeah, it's been long, and now I resumed it again. In between, there was like a break. But after hearing these verses and all, I realized, oh, I missed a lot of time. But yeah, I'll start. I joined, as I said, I joined a Hindu club here. So tomorrow there is a Janmashtami event. So I'm participating in that, and yeah, I'll spread. And thank you, Prabhuji, for connecting to the here local Prabhu. And I spoke to him and I said that I would come this weekend. So yeah, I'll start it.
So welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah. someday we'll meet, hopefully.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that for 5 years now.
Yeah, yeah. Please come to Singapore anytime.
Sure, on the next trip, we'll connect.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare
Right.
Krishna.
Krishna.
And before we end the session, so I would request all the devotees to please pray for Dipali. Dipali is there, and recently she has missed, or somebody who's very dear to her has left this planet, and Dipali is dealing with lot of grief. And together, if we pray to Krishna that he gives her enough strength and a better destination for the departed soul. So please keep her in your prayers, and we will chant Hare Krishna once for Dipali. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama.
Rama.
कृष्णदास कविराज जी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंद।
Hare Hare Krishna.